I'm Eric Kimball, back here with another mini bed gardening update. But more than that, this is a video about a soil amendment that I have used in the mini beds this year for the first time. And I don't know if it's coincidence or it's this amendment, but I've got one of the better mini bed gardens that I've ever had. This is, if you're not familiar with mini bed gardening, the mini bed experimental garden. And I think I'm into my ninth season of experimentation in the garden with this infrastructure concept. So what I want to do first, before I get into this amazing, I think, soil amendment, is give you an update on the garden. Now, my previous video, 2 weeks ago, July 2nd, I showed you pictures of the mini beds and the status of the garden at that time. Today is July 17th. We're eating out of the garden, and I'm going to show you the status of some of the beds first. Then I'm going to tell you about this amendment that I'm a big fan of at this point. I really think it's helped my garden. Right here you can see a mini bed with one tomato, always one tomato in the mini bed, never more. One is plenty. And the cage and the plant is growing above the cage. This is a slicer tomato. The tomatoes that you see a little bit of on the left are the aromas, the paste tomatoes, and they're not quite as big, but they're going to fill those cages right up. Now here's a mini bed of red onions, and you can see that they're plumping up very nicely. Here is a mini bed of white onions. I've got a lot of mini beds of these, and these will be storage onions. Here is my summer squash mini bed. One single plant in the bed. Notice how it's grown beyond the perimeter of the bed. It's got lots of space to spread out, and it's got all the moisture it needs under the plastic around the bed, and it has no weed competition. No weed competition. This plant is thriving. Here is one zucchini plant, or courgette, you could call them, as some people do, and that's one in a mini bed, one plant, and it's thriving. Here you see a picture of my oat cover crop on the left. I hammer planted it with the 13 spot pattern, and on the right are the strawberry mini beds, Brunswick strawberry plants. Strawberries of the largest and finest quality will be harvested next year. This is one single cucumber plant in a mini bed. Look at how it's sprawled out so nicely, and the cucumbers are just starting to come on. I thought I had two cucumber plants in this bed, but upon closer examination, I only saw one. Yesterday, I planted a couple of mini beds to cucumbers, 4 plants to a bed, hoping that we'll be able to get it like a fall crop this year out of them. We'll see how that goes, and they should be, big. With 4 plants, that might be too much. Here's winter squash, 4 mini beds, no weeds. There's no weed competition. When these plants die down in the fall, we'll see what we've got for a crop. It's kind of hidden away and growing. These are like mini winter squashes. Here, look at this bed. This is 4 plants, beans, green beans. Only 4 plants to a mini bed. I know that sounds ridiculous, but these plants are expressing their full beanness, as Joel Salatin might say, when they have all this room and all the captured subsoil moisture to draw on all around. They're thriving, and there's going to be a lot of meals coming out of that one mini bed, and I've got a couple of them there. Here we have potato mini beds to the left, pepper mini beds to the right. This whole row of formerly garlic mini beds right here has been planted to shell peas. My hope is that we will get peas for a fall harvest, but even if we don't, if these peas grow and we don't get peas, they will serve as a very good cover crop. This is a mini bed planted to 4-day carrots using my funky 4-day carrots technique. It's in my book, The Planet Whiz Bang Idea Book for Gardeners, and if you do a YouTube search of 4-day carrots, you'll find videos about this. I harvested this potato mini bed yesterday, Elba potatoes, and I got these potatoes out of the bed. There were more here. We had one meal last night, but this is the yield from one bed. We got a little bit of scab. Always have. It's not a problem. We don't sell these. We eat them. They taste great. As you know, if you grow your own potatoes, fresh potatoes are so much better than anything you buy in the store. So we're now eating out of our garden every day. We've got the onions, we've got lots of peppers coming on, the green peppers. We had beets last night. We're having the summer squash, the zucchini. I think there's something else I can't remember. But the point is, oh, we had broccoli. We're in the season of good eating from the garden. Having said all of that, let me get into this amendment, this fertilizer. It's not a fertilizer, it's a soil amendment. I was persuaded to try out this new soil amendment to me after reading about it in the Fedco seed catalog right here. If you don't get the Fedco seed catalog, you should. If you're a gardener, you should, because it's full of useful information. They've got a great thing going here, and you will not see beautiful color pictures of the vegetables and flowers and such, but you'll get a lot of information if you dive into this pretty sizable catalog. You're gonna enjoy this. Anyway, they have all kinds of soil amendments in here, and I read about all of them. And you never really know, right, when you read about fertilizers and soil amendments, if they're going to make a difference. And that's the case here too. But this makes sense, what they're talking about. And I did look further on the internet, and there's something to this, I really do think. It's crab meal, okay? I want to read you a little bit about what they have about crab meal here, because it's informative, and it's what got me into this. Crab meal. Crab shell, 440, 18% Ca, calcium. A nutrient-rich byproduct of blue crab facilities. As well as being an excellent source of macronutrients, crab shell meal is high in chitin. That's Chitin. And you want to pronounce it chitin, but that's not how you pronounce it. It's chitin. Adding it to your soil, now listen carefully here, adding it to your soil puts beneficial chitin-eating bacteria into a feeding frenzy and subsequent population boom. Once they've eaten up all the chitin you applied, they will turn upon pathogenic fungi and nematodes and disease-causing bacteria. These nematodes and bacteria have chitin in them. So you build up the chitin-eating bacteria, they consume the crab shell, and they go for the nematodes and such. Here we go. A solid body of scientific evidence supports the efficiency of chitinous soil amendments in the control of soil-borne pathogens. Will help you grow massive specimens of field-grown cannabis. Some of you may not realize that I did grow cannabis one year for one day. And at the very end of this video, I'll put a picture, if I can find it, of me with my young cannabis. The person who gave me the plants had a license to grow it. And when I put it on the internet that I was growing this, he said, I got to have those back because I could get in a lot of trouble. That's a whole nother story. And that's enough of it to know. But I'm not growing cannabis now. I don't use cannabis, okay? But you know, I like to grow everything. I like to try to grow everything at least once, right? Blah blah blah. Also, useful addition to compost mixes at 1/2 cup per cubic foot. Oh, the cost for a 5-pound bag is $12.50. You got to pay postage, of course. And this is a 5-pound bag. It just came yesterday. I bought a 5-pound bag in the spring. I put it in every mini bed that I planted. It's just ground up crab shell. Right here, I have a handful, and that's what I put in each of my mini beds. I tilled them up with my short-handled modified hodag. Got a video about how to modify this to make it the best short-handled hoe that you will ever find. I just spread a handful of this over the surface, chopped up the soil to mix it in, and I plant it. It turns out that if you eat lobster or those little things that they eat down in Louisiana, the crayfish, if you have some of those, or I mean, even if you have Japanese beetles and you collect them up and dry them down, there's chitin in all of those things. So you could actually dehydrate and grind and make your own chitin. That's what I'm thinking. Try this chitin out. because you know what happens is when you grow vegetables in the same spot year after year after year, you do get a buildup of pathogens in the soil, things that are just not that good, and the vitality of your crops will go down over time. And that's what we have in the mini bed. We're planting the same bed year after year after year, not the same crop. We're trying to rotate those around as much as we can, but the same bed. So something like this really attracted me, and I think it worked. I think it is working, and I think I'm going to continue to use it. That's why I bought another bag for my summer plantings. So that's that. I hope you will find that useful and maybe give it a try and see what happens in your mini bed experimental garden or your normal conventional type of garden. We'll see you in the next one, everyone. Bye-bye.